You're going to break it, okay? So stop.